Greetings, boys and girls. This is Mr. S with your Chapter 6 test review on religion. There are 45 multiple choice, 5 short answers, and 4 matching. So, open note, get your stuff together, look at the book, follow the book in order. And this is going in order, so I'm going to go as quick as I can. First, as we started out, look at the role of Tibet, the Dalai Lama, spiritual leader, exile. Look at the idea of religion in the big picture on how the conflicts between core cultural values and globalization. When we look at religion, look at the different parts of religion. And what I mean is the branch versus a sect versus a denomination. Please know the breakdown like we did with languages on religion. Know the difference between a universalizing and an ethnic religion. Know what appeals to one versus the other. Know the 3 major universalizing religions that we talked about. Know that the world's largest is Christianity. Then we look at ethnic religions. The largest is Hinduism. 90% or more are adherents in the country of India. Look at different branches. For example, I'll give you a list of different religions and find which one is a branch of Christianity. And that would be Eastern Orthodox, or Eastern Orthodoxy is an example of a branch. When we look at the Western Hemisphere, about 90% of the people in the Western Hemisphere claim to adhere to one form of Christianity. Look at the differences as it diffuses throughout North America. For example, the role of Latin American differences from North America and the Roman Catholic influence and immigration. Know how we are set up by this country by geographic regions. For example, you'll see more Roman Catholics in the Southwest, Baptists in the South, Lutherans in the upper Midwest of the U.S., Roman Catholics, again, their role in the South from immigration from Latin America. And this is all how this country is based or broken down from immigration. When we look at now, for example, Islam and Muslims, know that Muslims are clustered in the Middle East. Know the 2 different branches of Islam, and that is Shiite and Sunni. Know that the most dominant branch of Islam in Iran is Shiite, and the most dominant branch overall of Islam is Sunni. Know the holy book for Islam is the Quran, the Bible for Christianity. And if we ask for a holy book for Hinduism, trick question, there isn't one. We looked at Buddhism, and there's a technical question about the 2 differences between Mahayanas and Theravada Buddhists. The main difference is the emphasis on Buddha's compassion, adherence of, and then look at the idea of animus. We looked at the idea of monotheism versus polytheism. Look at how religions are diffused, especially Christianity and relocation, versus how ethnic religions tend to be dispersed more based on geography. Especially we look at things like Buddhism, which is different than other universalizing religions because it has remained concentrated in one region of the world. We looked at the idea of how different groups have been dispersed. For example, one religion in particular, Judaism, Jews have been dispersed around all parts of the world over the last 2,000 years. Know the concept of a ghetto from the religious perspective. We talked about cosmogony. We talked about different calendars, lunar calendar, which you would see with Judaism, versus Christianity, which would not follow the same calendar. We looked at the idea of hierarchy in religions and how different religions, whether they're ethnic or universalizing, organize themselves. We looked at the differences, let's say, from a mosque to a church, to a pagoda, to a shrine. And one of the things differ between a mosque and a church is because a mosque is not a sanctified place. For example, in Hinduism, the most common place to see worship would be in a home. We talked about sacred space and the idea of cremation versus burial. Please look at the differences in which religions which are more likely or more important part of their religion. We looked at the government side of it, or the idea of the role of government in religion. So the idea of Protestants and Catholics in Ireland. How we look at the idea of Hinduism and the caste system. Look at the idea of Palestine. We talked about the idea of the Holy Land and who has had control of it for the past 1,500 years, which would be the religion of Islam. Look at Jerusalem. I'll talk about it in class, but also look at it in the book. What's very interesting is you have many sacred sites of Jews and Muslims that are literally built one on top of another. Look at the idea of the Taliban in Afghanistan and the penalties that they impose on people, and there are quite a few of them. Look at the idea of government and the British in India, and they abolished or encouraged abolishment of the caste system. And then the idea of the Russian Revolution and the communist government and the role of churches in their government. There are 5, I said, short answers. Many of the answers are in the multiple choice, but real quickly, look at the world's largest ethnic religion. In what country is it? What major universalizing religion do most Europeans adhere to? Christianity. Name the 2 branches of Islam, which we've already done. Which branch of Islam is the largest in Iran and Lebanon? That should be an answer we've talked about. And describe the main difference between important holidays with universalizing and ethnic religion. And that's basically the idea that ethnic religions revolve around a calendar and universalizing around holidays that were events in the founder's life. And then finally, the matching is geography to religious denominations, or religious groups, I should say. So, for example, if we were to look at Baptists, we would see them in a state maybe like Alabama. And Roman Catholics, more likely to see in Arizona. And Lutherans, we're more likely to see in Minnesota. And Mormons, we would be more likely to see in Utah. That's it. Study hard, take good notes, use them on the test. That's it.